லைட்ஸ் போடுங்கம்மா ப்ளீஸ். ஓகே. அதில் இன்னொன்றுமா, இந்த 8 குழந்தைங்களும் அந்த கண்டாங்கி சேலை கட்டிட்டு, அப்புறம் மண்டை வளர்த்து, மண்டை மேலே ஒரு கொண்டை வளர்த்து மாதிரி 8 கொண்டையை போட்டுட்டு கலக்கிட்டாங்க. இல்லை அருமையாக இருந்துச்சுங்க. பங்கு பெற்றவர்கள் பேரை பார்த்துடலாம். தபஸ்வினி மணிகண்டன், ஸ்வேதா கணேஷ்குமார், அக்ஷயா கணேஷ்குமார், அபிநயா ராஜேஷ், சோஃபியா ராஜன், அனிதா செட்டி, நேஹா கார்த்திக், மிருதுலா அருண். இப்பொழுது சிறப்பு விருந்தினர் டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீ ஜாகிர் அவர்களை சிறப்புரை ஆற்ற பணிவன்புடன் மேடைக்கு அழைக்கிறோம். ஸ்டேஜில் லைட்ஸ் போட்டு.
அனைவருக்கும் மாலை வணக்கம். மினசோட்டா கால்சன் ஸ்கூல் ஆஃப் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் டீன் அவர்கள் திருமதி ஸ்ரீ ஜகீர் இந்த கால்சன் ஸ்கூல் ஆஃப் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் டீனில் போன ஆண்டு தேர்ந்தெடுத்தாங்க. 91லேருந்து யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஆஃப் மினசோட்டாவில் இருக்காங்க. இவங்க இளமை காலத்தில் சென்னையில் வந்து ஸ்டெல்லா மேரிஸ் கிறிஸ்டியன் காலேஜில் படித்தவங்க. இங்கே வந்து மினசோட்டாவில் கிட்டத்தட்ட 20 ஆண்டுகளாக இருக்குங்க. 20 ஆண்டுகளாக. ஸோ இவர்கள் நம்மிடையே சிறப்பு விருந்தினாக வருவது தமிழ் சங்கத்துக்கு ஒரு பெரிய பெருமைக்குரிய நிகழ்ச்சி. அதற்காக இவர்களை வரவேற்கிறேன். உங்கள் அனைவரும் இருக்கிற கூட்டு வரவேற்கிறேன்.
Before I, say anything more, the kuttigalna, didn't they do an absolutely romba pramadama dance pannina, romba pramadama paadidha? This is so fantastic. And straight away I must apologize. Na Tamil peshi enakku palakkame poidudhu. Adnala I'm going to try and I'll speak in English and you'll find the occasional peppering of Tamil in the middle of my remarks. But that's the best I can do, especially with Shweta and Uma's absolute fluency. I mean, clearly Sakala Kalavallis, and as my mother would say, so this is just fantastic. Anyway, thank you so much for inviting me to this. I am so proud, romba permaiya irukku, to come here and to see all these youngsters and how much they are sort of steeped in Tamil culture and how confidently they are out here singing, dancing. It's a huge, huge pleasure. It reminds me a lot of some of my own childhood. It's actually, I'm a sort of a third generation Tamil expatriate. And let me explain why. My grandfather, his name was A.V. Yeginarayanan, and he was working for the Audits and Accounts Services for the British in the 1920s. And he was posted in Simla, and he had, he and my grandmother had 6 children, 3 girls and 3 boys. My mother was the oldest, and so there was no education in Simla. And as it happened, he was one of the people who had to stay back in this bitter cold in Simla when the British were in Delhi during the winter months. And so literally he started a school on his veranda, and that was actually the beginnings of the whole Madrasi education system. The MES schools actually started in my grandfather's house in his veranda in Simla, and my mother was the first student of the MES program. So that was like 3 generations ago. They were already expatriates, and there are so many stories my grandmother used to say about getting together in Simla and singing kummi and kolatam and then bringing all these wonderful musicians from Madras to teach the children how to sing. My mother herself was a very, very good Carnatic singer. That was my grandfather's generation. Then in my mother's generation, my father was initially in Burma, and then afterwards he was always posted in Bengal, which is where I was born. So he was posted in Bengal, and so my mother, again, the South Indians there got together. They started a Tamil Sangam just like this one. It was called Bharati Nool Nilayam, named after Bharatiyar. And again, I remember sitting on a stage as a 6-year-old singing, Pongal o Pongal, things like that. So it was it's just wonderful to see this kind of effort to keep Tamil culture alive and among all of these wonderful young people. I'm not going to, I know you're waiting to eat and you're waiting to see more wonderful dancing and singing, so I'm not going to take very much of your time. I will just leave you with a few thoughts. Literally a week ago, I was in Madras, I was in Chennai, Namburu, I was in Pondi Bazaar, and then I was in Puducherry with a group of my friends from elementary school. These are girls, some of them I haven't seen for 50 years. All of them have become amazing. They've done amazing things with their lives. Listening to all the Rajinikanth and Kamala Hassan songs today, one of the girls, her father was a famous movie actor. Some of you might know him, Gemini Ganeshan. And she's now an editor for the Times of India. She's the editor of this Times of India newspaper called The Speaking Tree. I don't know, some of you may have seen it. Another woman is a famous dancer. Another woman is the national swimming champion in our age group. Yet another woman was a former president of the American Diabetes Association. I don't know what there was in the Tanni of that particular school in Chennai in 1964, but this is just an amazing, amazing group of women. And one thing we also shared was that we were all clearly products of families which believed very deeply in education. And I know I'm speaking to the converted here because I know all of you believe very strongly in education as well. But the other thing was that, all of us in some ways had been treated very much like our brothers. And I think right now there's a little bit of a dark period in India, and it's, where the whole status of women is being questioned. And so what I would strongly, strongly encourage you to do is, treat your daughters and your wives and your mothers and your sisters just the same way as you would treat your sons and your brothers and your fathers. So it's, I think that's a very, very important message that we have to convey to both to our young boys and to our young girls in terms of how they respect each other and what they can do with their lives. My father was certainly part of that process. Very strong believer in education, clearly encouraged me to, in many, many ways, to be educated. But also, I think the other thing he did was, my parents never held me back. When I got admission far away from home, they were a very conservative Tamilian family living in Chennai. Coming second was not an option. You know how it is. And it's at the same time, when I got admission in Ahmedabad, they let me go. And all of those things have really helped because, me get to where I am and do all the things that I've been able to do. So don't worry about the gulab jamun and ice cream. That's going to happen. I'm a product of gulab jamun and ice cream myself. But I would just say thank you so very much for inviting me here. Thank you also for keeping the Tamil spirit alive. And Pongal Varthigal, Puthandu Varthigal, and Nandri.